Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a retro review for Se7en from 1995. This is part of our series, David Finchember to Remember. So I'm going through all, if not most, if not all of David Fincher's filmography to celebrate his new film, The Killer. We have a review for The Killer in the channel, so make sure to go check that out. So I've been going in chronological order uh, through Fincher's filmography. This is obviously the second one. We also have a review for the first film, Alien 3. Sorry. So make sure to go check that out. And boy, I'll tell you this: what a leap from that first film to the second one. So let's talk about this film. This film is rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. Rotten Tomato score, as of the recording of this video, is a critic score is 83%, audience score 95%, letterbox average star rating 4.3%. This movie is high, high, high. Uh, Let me give you a quick synopsis here. And of course, I think when I get into it, we're gonna get into a little bit of spoilers. But I mean, come on, who hasn't seen Se7en? Um, Two homicide detectives are on a desperate hunt for a serial killer whose crimes are based on the seven deadly sins. In this dark and haunting film that takes viewers from the torture remains of one victim to the next, the seasoned detective Somerset researches each sin in an effort to go inside the killer's mind, while his novice partners, Detective Mills, scoffs at his efforts to unravel the case. This film is directed by David Fincher, written by Andrew Kevin Walker, who also adapted The Killer. That was really cool to see as I was researching this review and putting it together. This film stars Morgan Freeman as Detective Somerset, Brad Pitt as Detective Mills, Gwyneth Paltrow as Tracy, who is Detective Mills' wife, R.L. Emery as the police captain. You may know him from with the film that we reviewed a little while ago, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. I will note Andrew Kevin Walker, the writer, is also one of the first dead people in the movie, which is really cool. I'm leaving one name out for various reasons. One of them is being the big twist, but also just kind of this person's been problematic in the last few years. So we'll just kind of leave him out. But you know who I'm talking about. Big part of the film. All right, let's talk about this film. Uh, Going from seeing Alien 3 to this is a really interesting juxtaposition of Fincher's work. But even while watching the first film, I could see a little bit of those things that I remember from Se7en and other films from David Fincher. Um, I think one of the biggest things that I really enjoyed about this film is just the rain and the atmosphere, the coloring of this film, like mostly those red, darker, like cringier tones. Of course, throughout most of the film, it is raining up until the last few moments of the film, which is really interesting. What a nightmare, probably, to shoot in and to be a part of that production, because obviously water makes everything like 10 times more difficult. So, like, great kudos to everyone that worked on this. I'm sure there's a lot of scenes that maybe they had to do over and over. And just being in the rain or being wet or having to be like wet for that, I think it's definitely a big task. But it really adds to the film, right? I really think it brings that sense of dread. Also, when you are like, rainy weather is just kind of a mood killer, regardless. There are some people that enjoy the rain, but like the way that it's presented in here, how it's so hard and it's just kind of beating down on you, and it's not allowing you to do your work, especially as detectives trying to solve a murder, like rain and water and all these contaminations of scenes and everything. Like, it really really makes everything a lot more difficult, especially in 1995, where you didn't have access to all this technology that we have now to do research. There's some really cool stuff there, as the detectives have to do research and have to look into things, and have, like, even just researching, even Somerset just researching like the seven deadly sins. He can't just get on his phone and look it up, right? He has to go to the library and pull out a bunch of books, and he goes and does a lot of research manually, and it's really really interesting. Cool it's a very cool thing to see as a picture of its time, of how some of those things were handled back then. And of course, it really just adds to that slow pace, the slow burn that we have, that is kind of highlighted by these gruesome murders, right? I think another thing that I really enjoyed as I was trying to piece together my thoughts for a review was I love how different Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt's characters are. They're almost like inverses of each other, right? Whereas Somerset is a seasoned veteran. He's calm, cool, collected, smart, knowledgeable. Uh, Brad Pitt is just it's brash. He's brash and he's hungry and he doesn't really know what he wants and he just like it feels like he's trying to make sure that his name is out there, even though that we see with somebody like Somerset who is leaving the force soon, that doesn't really matter. He's not focusing on the things that should matter to him, and that's a really interesting dynamic between both of them, especially when you throw in Gwyneth Paltrow's Tracy, and she also comes into this picture of like like how much of a priority is Tracy for Detective Mills, right? What is their relationship like? They rarely probably see each other. We know that she's unhappy about their move to the city because she was content with her life where they were used to be. So really, really cool dynamic. Like there's a lot of real outside of the murders and the mystery. There's a lot of very interesting just character set pieces. One of the quiet moments that I really enjoyed was a conversation at a diner between Gwyneth Paltrow and Morgan Freeman, um, because Tracy doesn't have anybody really as somebody to rely on or a shoulder to lean on in this new city. So it's really interesting to have her kind of come in and just build some relationship with Morgan Freeman, who she's only met like once, and the only reason that she knows him is because they have made this move, and he's now partners with, or at least he's now training her husband. So uh, one of the other things I really noticed was these big set pieces. They take their time. They really help you build anticipation. One of the notes that I made here was the scene where the SWAT team is going up to the building when they're going to catch Sloth. Right? They think they have a killer, and they put on this whole show of like the SWAT team is driving in. They're going through up the stairs, like very methodically. Just they show you David Fincher chooses to show you all these things to build up that big reveal of what we see in that room when we go in there, right? You go like there are like maybe 10 or 20 men just going up the stairs, all suited up, armored up, even interesting to see the SWAT team's relationship with the detectives, where like they're all working towards the same goals, but like they're still part of different teams, and they kind of put the detectives off to the side because this is their moment. So it's really, I don't know, I really really dug that scene, um, and I just think the music is another layer that just thrown on top of that is fantastic. I didn't get the composer or the music designer or anybody, but man, what a fantastic way to just heighten the tension and just also add so much more to these scenes where you're already on the edge of your seat because you don't know what's going to happen. I think a lot of this movie has a lot of really cool moments that are so rewatchable, not because they're pleasant to watch, because this movie is dark and cringy and creepy, and there's some really messed up things here. Uh, but I think it's interesting to watch because of putting those things back together on the second watch. You kind of see how everything was built from the beginning. Um, there's also so much attention to detail on the sets. Like they, especially like I'm talking about the scene where they go into the killer's apartment and you see like so much stuff everywhere, the pictures, the books, all these little things, the hand from from a previous victim that he's using for another one of his crimes. Yeah, it's just fantastic stuff. Like just it looks another place too was when you're going down into that motel whatever thing where they find the sin of lust, like just the fact that the music is blaring and they can't turn it off, all the red lights, like it really just builds that place. Like all these sets really felt, even though we were in a large city, all these sets really brought in that sense of kind of like claustrophobia and just being trapped in this mystery and in this game with this killer, right? Yeah, I think just really cool stuff. Of course, I won't get too much into details, but like, I mean, the ending of this film, the big twist, the big layers, the big unraveling of this game that we've been playing for 2 hours. It is just all so well done. Fantastic performance. I don't know who did it better at the end, like Brad Pitt with the full range of emotions that he has to show, or Morgan Freeman having to kind of be this still stoic voice of reason at the end. So I love this film. It is probably one of my favorite films from David Fincher. I'll definitely do like maybe a rank or like a top five once I get through rewatching everything. But as you know, as of right now, this is gonna be high. It's gonna be hard to kind of take down. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. So stay tuned. I'll be doing more David Fincher movies for our big event of David Finchember to remember. Let me know what you thought about this film. Let me know what other films. So I'm looking through some of the films are harder to find because they're not streaming everywhere. Like the next film should be The Game, but that one's only streaming on Stars. I don't have Stars, so I might have to rent it. So we'll see. It may be time for me to buy some of these films, anyways. So I'll try to figure that out. But stay tuned on the channel. We'll have more of this stuff. I am so happy to be doing this journey. This is a director that doesn't have all that many films where it would be impossible to get through. So I think I could do this in maybe a matter of months or so. So hopefully we'll maybe get done with this event before 2024 because we have so much stuff coming to the channel. But as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.